You just loaded up TM Talk, the one pod to learn it all. I'm Professor Tommy.
And I'm Professor Ashley. Whether you're new to the Pokemon TCG or a seasoned trainer, we're here to help you level up your play, master the rulings, and grow your community one episode at a time.
All right, hello and welcome back to another episode of TM Talk. I am Professor Tommy, joined as always with my friend and co-host, Professor Ashley. And today we are going to go over our Lille recaps for the previous regional this past weekend. And then we're also going to talk about Gdańsk and Brisbane predictions for this upcoming weekend. And then some cool stuff that just came out from Pokemon, and it's still, like always, causing some kind of controversy out there in the Pokemon community. So we'll talk about that as well. But first and foremost, I say it every week, and I'm glad you guys are listening, but we got mail. We got stuff to talk about from our listeners. So I'm going to jump into that real quick before we even go into anything else. This was really cool. We had a email came from one of our listeners, Travis S., just dropped us an email and said, after listening to all of your podcasts at various different musings that I would like to share with you that maybe you can take as inspiration for your own show. And he gave us a lot of different ideas and suggestions of what he's looking to see from our show and kind of things that we can do, kind of spice things up. I think one thing that I didn't think about seemed pretty cool is like word of the week or whatever we want to call it. We'll come up with something, but I think it's something cool that we could do, but it's definitely like something that can, highlight different words that are used specifically in a TCG format or maybe like the Pokemon format, things that we say like BDIF and the meta and, things like that. We can kind of go into a little bit deeper and explain those things for you guys. So I think that's a pretty cool suggestion to have there. And a couple of things he suggested are things that we've talked about is doing some kind of like deck and card highlights. We wanted to talk about, of course, we want to talk about different decks and kind of let you know how those work, what they're looking at. And we're looking to do some of those episodes here coming up the next couple of months. It's just been really busy with these regionals going back to back to back. So we wanted to give you guys the utmost news on those, what's going on with that in the meta, and be able to provide you with all that information. So, but if you guys want to hear that, if you guys want to hear about deck and card highlights more than regionals, let us know. Comment, write us an email. Let us know what you think. We can definitely switch gears and maybe devote more time to that and less time on our regional coverage. Also talking about some upcoming releases, talk about what's coming up in upcoming releases and interviews. Interviews is something that we have talked about as well about doing. We definitely want to reach out to players and professors and listen to their journey and their story about how they got to where they are and see if we could get some tips and advice that they can provide us to the audience. So definitely another thing we're looking into as well. So thank you for all those, Travis. Appreciate it. Hope you keep listening. We appreciate it so much. And thank you for that, for those suggestions and inputs. And we're definitely going to implement some of this stuff here in the future. So appreciate that. Another comment we received on our latest Lille's regional preview episode was from Deepasula63 is, I'm predicting Dragapult doing really well this event. So if you have seen this regional, that's probably a very, it might be telling of what's going on at Lille's regional, but great job with your prediction there, Deepasula. Hopefully everything worked out for you there. And then also we had one more comment on Spotify from Eileen C saying, I've never really been into gaming myself, but my siblings were, and my son and his dad are huge gamers. Learning more about Pokemon and just how intricate it is with all the rules honestly blew my mind. I really appreciate the enthusiasm and energy you bring to each topic. It definitely shines through, which isn't easy to do. So thank you for that, Eileen. Appreciate it. I appreciate you listening every single week, and hopefully you are still learning about Pokemon and maybe one day will want to play yourself. So cool. Thank you for all that. So if you want to have your comment or your post or your email read, or maybe that you have an idea or something that you think that we could do for our upcoming episodes, please write to us comment on our episodes, and even, of course, as always, please follow us, drop the like, the subscribe button. Do that at tmtalkpodcast@gmail.com. And you can reach out to us on all of our socials, X, YouTube, and Instagram at tmtalkpodcast. So really looking forward to hearing from you all there. So, all right, before we talk about anything further, Ashley, how you been doing this week?
I have been super exhausted all week. I think my body's been trying to fight me getting sick, and it's just been a very, very long week and a very rough week with everything going on and just trying not to get sick. I've been trying to take a little bit naps here and there, but like today I had to do an extra shift, so basically now it's starting to get a little bit busier for my job, and we have to help. Some of us help deliver the packages, and I worked from 5:45 till about 10 o'clock this morning, and then I had to go back to work from like 1:30ish to about 5:30, so I'm kind of tired, but I'm here, and I'm ready to talk about some Pokemon. So, how have you been doing?
Yeah. So I hope that it gets better for you, Ashley. I know the busy season for you and your job is coming up. So stay healthy, stay safe out there. But I am doing pretty well. A little busy at work. We're coming up to a deadline and a milestone in our project, which is exciting to see us finally get to this point. And then, of course, just all the holiday stuff coming up. Like we have Halloween. At the time we're recording this is tomorrow night. And then we're getting ready for a trip to go out of town because, of course, I'm going to Vegas Regional, so going out there to Vegas. So we're just trying to get everything ready for the house before we do that. So a lot of things going on, which have been taken away from my training time for this regional. So I'm hoping to do well and hoping to lock in here pretty soon and get some matches in, practice some matchups, and finally figure out what I'm going to play. So that's where we're at right now. But let's talk about some exciting news that just came out with Pokemon. Pokemon released some new product this past weekend. It released 2 new battle decks. We kind of saw this with Death and Rivals, with the Grimmsnarl and the Steez Metagross battle decks. And now we have them for Phantasmal Flames, which is for the Mega Gengar EX and Mega Diancie EX, if I'm not mistaken. So those 2 decks just came out. So you could pick those up and start playing with some new cards from Phantasmal Flames, and which has caused a lot of questions and controversy about, well, if these cards are out now, that means they're legal for Vegas, right? Because 2 weeks later, how it works for tournament play is that when a set releases, 2 weeks later, it is legal for tournament play. However, the set has not released yet. It is just these battle decks. They want to, these happen in, like I said, Death and Rivals. And this is something that I think Pokemon does to kind of get people excited for the new set and seeing a lot of the new playable cards that are out there in these battle decks, being able to use them and have some fun and play with them locally. But they still will not be legal until the same time that the entire set Phantasmal Flame is out. But for those of you that don't know, Pokemon TCG Live, which is the online client to play Pokemon, the TCG online, official by Pokemon. A lot of people have been using it as of late. It's been like the number 1 tool now almost to like prep for a regional. And every time that Pokemon releases a product on that very same day, those cards become active in Pokemon TCG Live. So there's been a lot of noise in the Pokemon community about how these cards are ruining people's testing on the ladder and that they shouldn't be on here, and Pokemon remove them right away. Like, how dare you do this while I'm getting ready for all these other regionals and put these cards in here. So it's kind of opened up the idea of like, well, should these cards be allowed on the TCG Live ladder? Should they be released the same day that they get released, or should there be some kind of guideline about, well, let's keep the ladder as close to actual tournament play as possible. So I'll point the question to you, Ashley. What do you think about these cards being live on TCG Live? And what do you think about, well, let's back up. What do you think about the battle decks? Exactly. How you like those? And then you can go into, do you think they should be allowed on TCG Live to play with?
So I actually got lucky and was able to go to Walmart whenever they were restocking, and I was actually able to look at the decks and actually purchase one of the Gengars. Um, and I think they're actually really cool. They have a lot of playable cards. So if you're looking for a lot of trainers that can be used, like Lily's Determination, Arvin. I know it had a bunch more. I just looked at the Gengar one, but they both have a lot of very playable cards, which are very useful. Um, so I do think that they are really cool, and it's nice that they've started doing the illustration rares in the battle decks because it gives it a little bit more flair. And I mean, a lot of players like to bling out their decks anyway, so it's just one less card that they have to find to bling it out. But I do see the downside of it being already available on live. And me personally, I think that it shouldn't. I mean, yes, it has a lot of cards that are in the format right now that are legal, but Phantasmal Flames hasn't even had a pre-release yet, and I feel like even if it hasn't even had a pre-release, the Phantasmal Flames ones should not be legal yet, even if it's online. Because most of the time, like whenever a set comes out, you can't even do the code cards until like the day before the set releases. So why should the battle decks be available weeks before it even releases? So I can see the downside of that, and I personally don't think that they should be available yet on live, because I mean it does mess up with people's testing, and there are like tons and tons of players that actually use this for testing for regionals. And if you were playing against things that you know for a fact that you're not going to see because it's not even legal yet, it is going to mess up your play.
Yeah, and I can totally understand that, right? Looking at it at a holistic aspect, right? Pokemon is not just focused on competitive play, right? It's supposed to be for everybody to enjoy Pokemon however they want. So, releasing these new battle decks, having fun with these battle decks, showing and previewing some of the more stronger cards out of the set. I have nothing. I have nothing against that, and I think it's really awesome that they do that. I was super excited about this when I heard about it. I didn't know about it like before they came out. I did see they got out and they were gone in a flash. I was looking for that Mega Gengar EX battle deck because Gengar is one of my favorite Pokemon, and I think it's pretty cool. It has a cool ability on it, the Mega Gengar does. So to try that out and see that out, it would be fun. Me being one that's kind of trying to get ready for Regional 2, I am using TCG Live a lot because it's just kind of easier. I don't have to find somebody else to play with at like weird hours of the day or whenever I have time, which is going to be after work. Sometimes after we record this podcast late in the night, after the baby's down, after the family's to sleep, I'm staying up late and playing some TCG Live Ladder. But I could totally understand why Pokemon released those cards out because there's a lot of casual players on TCG Live as well that want to have fun with these new cards and try things out. And maybe they're prepping for a regional down the road. And at least having some of these Phantasmal Flames cards might be helping them get ready for, all the regionals and tournaments after LEIC, which is going to be when Phantasmal Flames is legal. Or just, hey, they want to have fun online and don't want to buy the cards, but want to see, hey, are these cards even worth it for me to buy? Do they even do anything cool? Let me try them out, whatever. I think that there's no right answer or easy answer to this. I think it's just going to be maybe if Pokemon can do a thing where if you're going to play on ladder, like ladder itself should be as real to in real life tournament format as possible. And then, have it more knowledge based that like there's the casual side of Pokemon where all those cards are legal, right? And then you can play whatever cards you want from, I think they even have it released right now from Black and White, like the original Black and White onward to now, you can play in the casual setting, and then maybe just keep those cards out of the competitive ladder setting, and then just letting players know that, hey, these new cards are out. You can play with them on casual, or if you want to, compete and play directly for ladder, ladder is going to be in real life tournament format as it is right now. So I think there's a happy medium, right? Which is still getting those cards on TCG Live, but making more of an emphasis on the casual side if you want to play with those cards, and then showing ladder is going to be really competitive. Like it's a ladder, right? It's supposed to be ranking you among competitive players, and that you're trying to play competitively, so to rank you on that. So I think there's an easy way to do that, and it's just kind of like just getting the word out there, and then just stopping them from being in the actual official ladder deck builds that you put out there. So any other words you have on this one, Ashley?
I think it would be really cool if they could come up with a way to do like, I think they've really started realizing just recently that players do use live as a way to test before regionals. And I think it would be really cool, like if they're going to come out with battle decks like this that are going to be legal on live weeks before the set even comes out, it would be cool for them to have like a button, or just like you were mentioning, basically have it programmed to where on the ranked side of it, it's not legal and it won't even let you play it. But on the casual side, then you can. And I know that's probably like a lot of coding that has to go into that. So they're probably not going to do it. But I think it would be cool to even just have like a separate ranked ladder to just be like, hey, this is 4 players. And if you're prepping for this specific regional, then you can turn on this and it allows all the cards that are going to be allowed for that regional. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. So tell us what you guys think. If you think these battle deck cards being on the ladder is an atrocity, and you want to go burn down TPCI right now, or if you really don't care and you like playing with the new cards, or you're in a happy medium, let us know on our socials and put it out that way. So I think that's all I have for about new releases and things like that. So let's go to our Lille recap. So I do want to correct myself. I think last week I was saying Lily or Lil. It's Lille. I looked it up. Google helped me speak this word, so help me with the enunciation of this. So it is Lille. So I apologize to everybody who was offended by the way I said it. I'm sorry. And then also too, I did say last week that I believe that Phantasmal Flames was going to be legal for the week of LAIC. I was incorrect. It's going to be for the week after LAIC. So Phantasmal Flames will not be legal in tournament play until the week after LAIC, which is the Latin America International Championships. The Latin America International Championships will be the last tournament we have in the Mega Evolutions format before Phantasmal Flames is legal in play. So. All right, well, all that out of the way, let's talk about some Pokemon action here in Lille. I'll start it off with Go. Go was pretty exciting in Lille. A lot of great matchups we're having all around. Just to refresh our listeners, with Pokemon Go, if you're not familiar with it, it does have a double elimination structure to it once you get into Phase 2, which means that pretty much you're playing until there's only one person left with only one loss or no losses, right? So that's why they do the bracket reset, and they have a loser and a winner bracket. So if everybody plays in the winner until they start dropping out, and then all the people who lost their matches in the winner's bracket, goes to the loser's bracket, play each other until they all get eliminated, until there's only 2 people left. Somebody from the winner's bracket, which means they haven't lost yet, and then one from the loser's bracket who has already lost one match. And so we got down to Keldeo, SH and Hikami, and they actually played each other in the winners bracket semifinals, with Keldeo SH winning. So he bumped Hikami into the loser bracket finals. Hikami did win the loser bracket finals, and now these two are playing each other again in the grand finals. So I thought that was pretty cool. I want to let you guys know that. First and foremost, shout out to Keldeo, because he was dressed to impress for this regional, wearing like a nice business suit, no tie, unbuttoned top. But hey, he came looking like Giovanni a little bit there to come play some Pokemon Go. So great fashion sense, my friend. And this was actually the best placement either of these players have had in a regional so far, coming up to the finals. So congratulations to them both for hitting that personal milestone of coming to the finals in a Pokemon Go regional. Keldeo SH had a team of Blastoise, Shadow Sizor, Stunfisk, Galarian Corsola, Furret, and Florges. So pretty cool addition with the Furret, because Furret is a big counter to Galarian Corsola. By its type alone, it has a type advantage. And then it's also negates a lot of the attacks because of the other attacks it has. So that's pretty cool, kind of strategic thinking from Keldeo. Hikami had a pretty cool team as well, with Empoleon, Abomasnow, Galarian Corsola, Gastrodon, Zweilous, and Shadow Talonflame. So a lot of different Pokemon here that we haven't been talking about before in Pokemon Go. Of course, the big staple is Galarian Corsola. You see it out here right now in both of teams of these players, but yet that's the only Pokemon they had in common. And you will notice that neither one are playing Credilli either. So finally, the teammate of Credilli and Galarian Corsola has been broken. People have been looking to play other Pokemon besides that. So interesting games all around. And really it came down to just Hikami being able to execute his game plan, which was to use Empoleon as like the huge backbone for his team. Every single match he was playing Empoleon, and what the game plan was just kind of hang Empoleon back, try to get the shield advantage, and that way his Empoleon can come up and just start swinging away, crushing people, because there's no shields he has to worry about. And it went that way. So they went 3 games. So they played best out of 5 matches. So Hikami won the 3 games in the first match. So then they did a bracket reset, which now means that Keldeo has a loss. So now each player has a loss, and now we're going to the last bracket match, best of 5, to figure out who's going to win this thing. And Hikami once again was on a roll. Won the first match, or won the first game of that last match, and then Keldeo won the second game. But then it went under game review, and the judges came back and said, "Hey, you know what? There was something that happened, some kind of lag or some kind of game disruption. So we had to do a rematch." And in that rematch, Hikami took the rematch, and then he also won the last game. So he swept 6 games to nothing to become Lille's Pokemon Go finalist. So congratulations to Hikami and Keldeo SH for a great finals matchup, and a big congratulations to Hikami for going all the way to the championship in Lille. And any thoughts on Pokemon Go, Ashley?
I always like seeing the way they do this. Like, I feel like I mention this all the time, but it's so cool to watch that Pokemon Go, you have the winners bracket and then the losers bracket. And even if you're in the losers bracket, you can still work your way back up there. And that's exactly what Hikami did in this. And I just think that's super inspirational for players. I know a lot of us kind of beat ourselves up if we lose, but definitely in Go, even if you lose, you still have a chance to win.
Yeah, for sure. And like, it's always coming back to like that mentality of like playing every game as if it's the first game in your set, right? Don't hold anything back from the last game, no matter what the outcome was, whether you win, lost, or drew. You got to kind of just shake yourself off and go back into it in a fresh mindset. You don't want to like drag yourself down, or vice versa, hype yourself up a lot, and now you're playing overconfidently, and then you get surprised on. So definitely it goes into showing like that big player status, or that good mentality to have of never giving up and understand like, hey, look, I always have a shot. I always have a shot until they tell me I'm out of the tournament, right? So keep playing, and so that is really cool. I like to see that. But yeah, let's move on to VGC.
So this finals match was actually really, really cool to watch. I know last week I had kind of mentioned about my predictions about like what teams we would make or what teams we would see, and then if we were going to see kind of some innovation from the players since Legends EA has come out, and we actually got to see a little bit of innovation. It was kind of cool to see.
Nice.
So we had, for our very final match, we had Marco against Eduardo. And Marco's team consisted of Incineroar, Goldango. Now here's one of the different ones. Komodo, Rabombi, and then Blood Moon, Ursaluna, and Dragonite. And then for Eduardo's team, most of his was the same. So we had Sneasler, Blood Moon, Ursaluna, Smeargle, which is one that I think if you've played in past formats, you've probably seen Smeargle. But in this format, we haven't seen a ton of Smeargle, I feel like. So it was kind of cool to see that one. And then Incineroar and Goldango and Rillaboom. So we had a little bit of innovation, which was actually really cool to see. And then I just want to point out for the one of the top 4 matches was also a team that's a little bit different as well. So there was Archaludon, Pelipper, Tatsugiri, Weavile, Dondozo, and Annihilate. So it was kind of cool to see that we had some kind of innovation with some of the teams, and they weren't all just like the exact same teams. Because I always think it's cool when players test out different ways to play the matchups. I always think it's really cool to see players play or find different ways to play a team and see if there's 1 or 2 different Pokemon that you can throw in instead of the same 6 that everybody usually plays with. So the finals match started out quick and strong. Marco sent out his Rabombi and Goldango, while Eduardo sent out Smeargle and Goldango. Time could not be wasted, so Marco instantly terrestrialized his Goldango while getting a tailwind off the Rabombi. His Goldango hit Make It Rain, leaving the Smeargle with only 1 HP thanks to its Focus Sash, and his opposing Goldango with 34 HP. So already, Marco is like on a hot streak. He's already taken down almost 2 Pokemon, and it hasn't even been 30 seconds into the match. But Eduardo was able to make a comeback even after the start, making the match 1-0. The next set started out with the exact same set of Pokemon for both players, so I feel like these players kind of like those 2 Pokemon to start with. But there was a little bit of a difference. They both terrestrialized their Goldangos. So we had Steel Goldango and Water Goldango. Marco tries the same setup with the Tailwind and Make It Rain, but this time Eduardo's Goldango was only knocked down to 81 HP since it was the Terra Water. Marco was able to take the second match thanks to his Skill Shot Dragonite hitting 5 times and Incineroar's Flare Blitz burning the Blood Moon Ursaluna. So now we're down to the very final match. We're tied 1-1. Who do you think is going to win? So for the third game in a row, both players started out with the exact same Pokemon. They did not change up their starting Pokemon at all. They started the same 2, Goldango, Rabombi, Goldango, Smeargle. They were like, these 2 are good. We're going to start with them. However, Marco did try to go a little bit different path this time. He did still terrestrialize his Goldango, but instead used the Protect on Rabombi instead of the Tailwind. As the match progressed, Eduardo was down to just his Blood Moon Ursaluna, while Marco had Incineroar and Dragonite. The tag team of Skill Shot and Knockoff from Marco's Pokemon he was able to knock out the Blood Moon down just to 41 HP, also knocking off the leftovers from Blood Moon. Marco was able to use the combination of extreme speed from the Dragonite and then Flare Blitz from the Incineroar, taking down the Blood Moon and becoming the Lille Regional champion. So it was a pretty cool match to watch. I still think it was hilarious that they used the same 2 starting Pokemon for every single match. And every single time Marco terrestrialized into the Steel Goldango.
Yeah, that's pretty. It reminds me of like playing rock paper scissors with your friend. You always know that friend's always gonna play rock.
Yeah.
So it's like rock paper scissors. I know what you're gonna play. Like, so that's pretty cool. I mean, that sounds like a pretty exciting finals match there for VGC. I can see why they hoot and holler every time they watch these finals, because like going down with the 1 HP and making the comeback after that rough start and all that kind of stuff. So that's really cool to kind of probably watch and get into, especially if you know what's going on in the different moves. Yeah, so that's awesome. So congratulations to those 2 players for making it to the finals, and big congratulations to Marco for taking that win.
Yes, congratulations to you guys. That's pretty much all I had for the VGC.
Let's go on to our bread and butter over here, TCG. All right, so going into TCG, right? I'm going to limitlesstcg.com. They do have an awesome thing called labs, where they actually take all the tournament results and they like analyze all the data for you from there. So that's what I'm using today is limitlesstcg.com. Just go to the tournament regional championship Lille, and you can find the labs section, or you can go straight to the website, which is labs.limitlesstcg.com. And then you can find whatever championship tournament you're looking for, and they break it down for you. So with this one, right, if we're going to look at the meta game, we actually turn off variant grouping, which means that any variant, so like let's say straight Dragapult and Dragapult Dusknoir, if the variant grouping is on, it would then like have them separated. Vice versa. If the variant grouping is off, then it'll show the different variants for Dragapult Dusknoir, specifically Dragapult, any kind of Charizard deck that's out there, so on and so forth, even Gardevoir, straight Gardevoir and Gardevoir Jellicent, they would be separate. But if I turn on the variant grouping, which means we're just going to group them, and so like whatever was Gardevoir, whether it was Gardevoir Jellicent or straight Gardevoir or another version of Gardevoir, it's going to be all piled together. And looking at these numbers here, with all the variants together, Gardevoir is holding at over 16% of the meta share at Lille. Like I said in our last podcast, in our last episode, Europe loves Gardevoir. We will always see a high number of Gardevoir out there. So that's what made me so confident with my Marnie's Grimmsnarl pick. I was thinking a dark deck was definitely going to go all the way in Lille because of the Gardevoir high percentage I thought was going to be there. As we go down the list, though, Goldango is at 11.7%. Charizard was at 9.28%. Dragapult 9.23%. Ceruledge 7.36%. Marnie's Grimmsnarl 6.37%. Mega Absolbox was 5.53%. And then rounding off these 5%ers, which is Raging Bolt, just under at 4.49%. So a lot of different decks there overall. If we want to look at the conversion rate, which means we could take all the decks from day one over to, and then see how many came over to day two, and then gives us kind of like a conversion rate for that. What's funny enough, if we look at the highest conversion rate, Miraidon with one deck played throughout this entire tournament, day one, and came over to day two, so I was 100% conversion rate.
Let's go.
But as we look at some of the other conversion rates here, we can see like pretty much Terrabox was a big conversion rate with 28.5%. Then there's a Frostlass Monkey Dory at 25%, Mega Lucario at 25%, Dragapult at 24.06%, Gardevoir with 22.6, Marnie's Grimmsnarl with 22.48. And Zoroark actually coming over with 21.74. And even a cool deck that I was looking at and liked to see was the Blood Moon Ursaluna deck. Actually has a 21% conversion rate in Lille. So that's great. That means that, out of, what is it? Out of, let's say 1 out of 4, right? 1 out of 4 players are going to convert if they play this deck. No, it's 25%. Excuse me. It's going to be 1 out of 5. So out of 5 players, one of them is going to convert with these numbers. So that's pretty cool to think of. Just make your whole group play the same deck, and at least you can guarantee at least one of you will make it to day 2. But if we look at day 2 specifically, Gardevoir was a high meta share with 20%, almost 21% of the meta share on day 2 specifically, followed by Dragapult at 12.6, Gholdengo 9.27, and Charizard at 8.15, tied with Marnie's Grimmsnarl as well at 8.15, and Cerulege 6.74. So, a lot of decks that we've seen here before, but also a lot of decks that are still kind of making their way and making themselves known that, hey, they're going to be around for a while, especially Gholdengo and Cerulege, surprisingly being over here in these top day 1, day 2, and having these higher conversion rates along with Gardevoir and things like that, showing the dominance here. So any surprises to you or anything that sticks out to you looking at this meta share, Ashley?
I don't think anything really like super sticks out to me. It is let me see. I'm actually kind of surprised that there was, what is it, the Crustle? Yeah, the Crustle. There was still a lot of Crustle played. It does really good kind of against the Dragapult Dusknoir build, but it's not very good against the Gardevoir. But it was kind of interesting to see that there was still, like, it was almost a 50% win percentage just for that deck. So it was kind of interesting to see.
That's wild. Let's look at the conversion rate for that too. Crustle, 20%. So 20% conversion rate. So not bad.
Yeah, that's really not too bad.
Yeah. So as we look
at that,
there was
an Alakazam too.
Oh,
I just now
we
saw that one. There was some Alakazams that convert.
So out of 30 Alakazams played in day 1, 6 made it to day 2. So a straight 20% conversion rate there. So very nice. Congratulations to those Alakazam players putting Alakazam on the map. A cool Pokemon indeed. But now we look at the standings. We'll look at the standings for this here. We're going to look at our top 16 in this tournament here. And should we start from the bottom or should we start from the top? What do you think?
Let's start from the bottom.
Let's start from the bottom. Okay, so there was a first. Yeah, that's fine. There was a first in this tournament, actually. So there was an asymmetrical top 16 cut. Only 16 players max would make it into that asymmetrical cut, which means that pretty much those 16 players would all play each other to move on to the top 8. And so it's kind of like an asymmetrical. Nobody's like really in first or second. Everybody's just kind of going into that as long as they made the match points. This is the first time, I believe, this season in tournament history, because there is a cap on the asymmetrical. I think last season was 32. They dropped it down to 16 this season. And we had one player bubble out of that asymmetrical top cut, which was Drew Stephenson. He had the match points, but did not have the opponent win percentage to make it into the top 16. So sorry for that, Drew. Great job at the tournament. I hope you get him next time. And hopefully we see you play in Gdansk there. That's coming up this weekend. But anyway, so top 16 is Julio Sanchez Rodriguez with Gardevoir Jellicent. And then we have a Dragapult Terrabox, actually quite a bit of Terrabox in here. 3 different Terrabox in the top 16. And then we had I believe just only 2 Gardevoirs in the top 16, which was surprising to me.
That is very surprising.
Yeah, we had a Flareon Noctowl, the Eevee Box deck in here. Pretty cool. We had a Goldango at 10th place. Dragapult Dustnor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Dragapult Dustnors in the top 16. All the way from number, and they're all in 9 and above. So speaking to the dominance of Dragapult Dustnor here in Lille. And we also had one straight Dragapult in at 15th place. So looking at the top 10 and closer, just one Charizard at 6th place. And then surprisingly enough, we have 2 Zoroark in here. So there was a dark deck that's doing really well, just wasn't Grimmsnarl. Zoroark, especially the Piper Lapines build in 3rd place, which was really cool, I thought, because Piper played Darumaka and Darmanitan. So there's been a lot of Zoroark out there that have actually dropped those cards because they wanted to go for a thicker Reshiram line or include some kind of other tech cards. And Piper actually included those cards back in here, and a cool tech that she put in as well is this Okidogi EX. So that's straight there. Her cornerstone answer was Okidogi EX. Which I think is super cool, because Okidogi EX has a 250 HP, so the big bulky Pokemon. Has its first attack for just 1 colorless energy. It's poisonous musculature. Search your deck for up to 2 basic dark energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon. Then shuffle your deck. If you attach energy to a Pokemon in this way, this Pokemon is now poisoned. So Okidogi poisons itself, but then its next attack, which is for 3 energies, which you just loaded up from the previous turn, is Chain Crazed. 130 base damage, plus if this Pokemon is poisoned, this attack does another 130 damage. So 260 off the rip. Can definitely take out a Cornerstone with a Bravery Charm on it. All that kind of good stuff. So a great Cornerstone counter there for Zoroark deck is this Okidogi EX. So getting some play here by Piper, and it looks like a couple other of Zoroark players decided to play that as well. From Aiden Koos actually started playing it in Pittsburgh and Milwaukee, got all the way to 10th place with it in Milwaukee, and so Piper and Julian Gortberry in Lille actually played that Okidogi EX in there. So that was a pretty cool inclusion that I saw. And then also she's playing the Psyduck in here to better the matchup against Dragapult. So as we always talked, right, as we talked last episode, when you play a deck to a regional, you should really look at the top decks and see what your matchup is into those decks, right? Which Zoroark being a dark type Pokemon, with Darmanitan as well in there, which it has the Flame Body Cannon, which you could do 90 to the active and 90 to a bench Pokemon. Really has a great Gardevoir matchup, but Zoroark always kind of lacked in the Dragapult matchup, but now Psyduck is here to really even that out because of it stops Dustnor with its ability Damp. So therefore, the Dragapults can't pop off those crazy combos of popping off a Dustnor, knocking out a Zoroark, and then being able to hit 60 on the bench for something else, as well as set up another attack. So really interesting. It really forces the Dragapult player into just swinging into Zoroark, and swinging 200 in Zoroark. Zoroark EX uses an attack called Night Joker, which it could look at any N's Pokemon on your bench and use their attack as its own. So that's why you partner it with N's Reshiram, which has an attack called Powerful Rage, which does 20. This attack does 20 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So with 200 damage or 20 damage counters on your Zoroark, you are hitting for 400 damage, easily knocking out a Dragapult EX out there. So really interesting to me about this deck here, this deck choice. Of course, it did not, it ended unclimactically for Piper in her top 4 matchup against a Dragapult. She was not able to secure that victory, and we actually ended up into having a Gardevoir mirror match, or not a Gardevoir, a Dragapult Dustnor mirror match. Again, with well-renowned player Alberto Conti and Alexander Rudowitz. They both played each other in the finals, with Alexander coming out on top. So interesting regional for me. I think learned a lot actually about this. What are your thoughts on it, Ashley?
So I just wanted to point out that in our top 8, we also had the other in Zorwalk was Gabriel Fernandez. And if you guys have not been paying attention, like, this is his first season as a master, and he already was a finalist at one regional, and now he's in the top 8. So he's continuing his run, and he is just doing fantastic right now. And I did want to point out that his deck was just a little bit different from Piper's list. He decided to play the Hoopa EX, which has 220 HP, and it's a fighting type. But for 2 dark energy, its attack is Energy Crutch, which is 50 times. This attack does 50 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So if you can think about it, like, that's going to be good against a lot of different Pokemon, or a lot of different decks, especially if they're like the Gardevoirs, where they kind of manipulate the energy, or your Dragapults, where they're trying to get all of their energy ready. That could go good against a lot of different Pokemon.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you could really see that tech come into play against the Mega Absol box. So I think he was thinking that Mega Absol was going to be bigger than what it was in this tournament with that Hoopa play, because Mega Kangaskhan EX is weak to fighting. So definitely can take that one-hit knockout on a 3-price Pokemon and come out. Now, this Pokemon here against Gardevoir, probably not the best choice because it is weak to Psychic Pokemon. But I think, I like where he was going with that too. I think it's a pretty interesting tech card. So it just kind of falls into what scenario, what matchup are you most afraid of, or what matchup are you trying to make better for yourself. So interesting, both those techs. But yeah, it's super cool. So any other thoughts on Lille's regional, Ashley?
Just congratulations to all of the players that made it in top 8, and anybody who competed. You did a great job, no matter where you placed in the regional. That's
right. Yeah. So congratulations to everybody there. Big congratulations to Alexander for taking home the win in Lille. And Alberto Conte, congratulations on making to be the finalist as well. So, and I know a lot of these players in Lille have been kind of hanging over for Gdansk and waiting for that tournament to start. So it's going to go into our predictions for Gdansk and Brisbane. But before we get to that, let's talk about our predictions. How did we do? And who came out on top, as the professor who knows what they're talking about. As we talked, and you realize just to remind you, give you a quick recap, I picked Marnie's Grimmsnarl as the deck that was going to come out on top and do the best. And my impact card that I picked was Tatsugiri. Ashley picked Dragapult Dusknoir. And your impact card was?
Did I pick? I'm sitting here trying to remember what I picked.
It doesn't matter what you picked, because
hold on.
Hold on. Let me see what you picked.
Hold on, guys. I'm looking it up real quick. I wrote this down last week just to make sure that we would remember, and I couldn't. I can't believe I forgot already. What did I pick?
All right, so what it sounds like is I'm winner by default because you don't remember your own picks. So
listen, I've been up all day. Like, I've had a long day. Okay, it was the Fighting Gong. I was thinking it had something to do with the Soul Rock Lunatone, but I couldn't remember. Okay, my impact card was the Fighting Gong.
Okay, so neither one of my picks made it into the top 16, where both of Ashley's picks made it into the top 16. with the 10th place Luis Goldengo Soul Rock deck, getting out there with Fighting Gong. And of course, we had our mirror match for the finals, which was the Dragapult Dusknoir deck. So, no surprise here, no squeak match. It was a complete steamroll by Ashley. She is our winner for Lille. So, congratulations, Ashley, on that. Great job on those picks.
Thank you. Listen, guys, even though I'm really quiet sometimes and I don't talk near as much as Tommy during this podcast, I do actually know what I'm talking about sometimes.
That's why I have you on here.
I may be quiet, but I do know what I'm talking about. I think a lot.
That's why I have you. That's why I have you on here.
I appreciate you.
Because I know that you know that I know that you know what you're talking about. So I appreciate that.
I feel like that Spider-Man meme where we're just like pointing to each other right now.
That's
right.
I
know, you know, we know.
So that leads us into the upcoming regionals this weekend, which is going to be Brisbane and Gdansk. Real quick, we'll go through all three games again, but really with Go, I didn't really see a lot of changes. I mean, yes, the teams were different, but there's still Galarian Corsola out there. I still think Credilli is a great pick as well. The finals of Lille really showed us that there's a lot of different techs out there that can be played and can do well. We saw Blastoise, we saw Empoleon, we saw Furret, Abominusno. So I think the meta has really opened up. And as long as you can find that counter to Galarian Corsola and build that strong team behind it, like our champion Hikami did, which was he found a Pokemon in Empoleon and said, okay, I'm gonna build a team around Empoleon that's gonna allow me to execute my game plan, which is just to win the shield trade, then get the shield advantage and let Empoleon collect energy, and then let him go wild at the end and clean up the match. So it's gonna be interesting to me. I think with Furret making its way to the finals as a great Galarian Corsola counter, I'll be watching to see if is Galarian Corsola and Credilli's time over. Are they going to drop down in meta share because now they're starting to show that there's counters to those Pokemon out there, and then like what other spicy techs will we see from Europe? So that's kind of the questions that are out there on my mind. But I still think that if you're playing Go and you're trying to go to Gdansk or Brisbane and trying to figure out what Pokemon you should have, Galarian Corsola, Credilli are not bad choices whatsoever to go out there and build your team around. What about you, Ashley? What do you have for VGC for us? What kind of things do you think we're going to see in these two regionals?
So we got to see a little bit of fun innovation from the players during Lille, and I'm curious if we're going to see some more innovation at the next regionals. I feel like we probably will. It's kind of cool that we've had that innovation, and I think part of it has to do with Legends EA, because people have been playing with different Pokemon, and maybe they've came up with ways to counter this specific Pokemon that has been doing so well in Regulation H. So I do think that we're going to see a little bit of innovation, and I think it's actually kind of funny because I did see a tweet the other day. If you know about the VG scene, you've probably heard of him, Justin Tang. He actually shared that he had been working on a Ribombee build for his team a while back, but he just kind of fell off of building it for whatever reason. So it was kind of interesting to see that it actually won Lille this past weekend, which was really cool. And it's just interesting to see that these players, even if they don't really know each other, sometimes you can have the same idea as somebody else, and you may not be able to figure out the build, but somebody else might be able to. And I think we can see more innovation from players if they just kind of continue to do that. I think for the most part, most of the teams will stay the same. We're still in the same regulation. We have about a month left of this regulation, and then we're going to switch. And then it's going to shake up the meta. It's definitely, I'm going to have to learn it myself. And then, so I understand the meta, so I can explain it to you guys. But I think it is going to be pretty much the same. I expect to see Incineroar. I'm curious if we're going to see a lot more Dragonite during the next ones, because the Scale Shot Dragonite actually does really well. If you can get that multiple hit Scale Shot, it does so much damage, and you can pretty much knock out a Pokemon in one turn with it. So you can hit with the Scale Shot and then use like Goldango, who can use Make It Rain to double hit both Pokemon. You could have one Pokemon gone super quick. So maybe people will start figuring out like a counter to the Dragonite or the Goldango, since they had such big impacts. But I think for the most part, we're going to stay the same.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that all plays out, because to see two totally different teams in VG from what we have been expecting to see. There were some staples in there, like Goldango made his return. Blood Moon Ursaluna was out there. But like just like in Go, right, to kind of see how people are knowing now that the meta has been established by these Pokemon. Okay, what can I play to kind of overcome that? What gives me a better matchup? So pretty cool to see, and hopefully some exciting matches are going to come out of Gdańsk and Brisbane. So to lean into TCG a little bit here. So first, hey, let's implement something that our listeners wanted to hear, right? Word of the week. Word of the week we're going to talk about is BDIF. BDIF, which is best deck in format. What that means is pretty much that in TCG, this is a deck that is above all others. Like, this is the deck to beat, or this is the deck that cannot be beat. And either you play it, or you figure out your hardest how to defeat it, because you know that's going to be the reigning deck out there. So it's been going back and forth for a little while. People have been saying a lot that Gardevoir is the BDIF best deck in format ever since, even before Worlds. It's been strong for so long, and such a constant, and always just receiving new tools all the way throughout all the formats. So it's no surprise it's still strong in Mega Evolutions. But however, what we're seeing is Dragapult, and Dragapult Dusknoir specifically, making its claim for BDIF, and still having a great run throughout tournaments. It has not won as much as Gardevoir has. However, it's been steady and has still been very effective. Always in the top 16 of a lot of the majority of regionals and even worlds, as we saw in the finals. But I think this tournament in Lille, if we looked at some of these Gardevoir decks, they were very, very greedy. And what I mean by that is that they were playing like disrespecting Dragapult Dusknoir. They were playing like no TM Evos, one Corellia, 4, like rare candies, really going for that like turbo Guardy build to really try to get as much as possible Gardevoir in turn 2, and then be able to execute their game plan. And so why is that important? Because that kind of opens up the path to Dragapult Dusknoir. Now, Dragapult Dusknoir's matchup against Gardevoir, especially a turbo Gardevoir, is better. It's more favorable in Dragapult Dusknoir, and they were actually able to take advantage of that. Those Dragapult Dusknoir players were able to take advantage of the different Gardevoir builds that were out there and be able to kind of come back on top. So it's really interesting to see that, and I'm wondering if with that is Dragapult going to make it 2 in a row with Lille and Gdansk, especially in the European region, because those two tournaments are back to back a week apart, and a lot of those players that played in Lille are going to come back in Gdansk and play. So it's going to be interesting to see, do the Gardevoir players, do they change their decks back to the slower Gardevoir? Will Dragapult adjust and predict that? Or will these Dragapult players just say, hey, I'm running the same 60, come at me, so it'd be interesting to see that. So with our predictions for Gdańsk and Brisbane, I thought a little bit different. Let's answer some questions, and we'll record what we answer, and we'll see how well we answered and what's going to happen here. So I'm going to start off first with this question to you, Ashley, which is, I think everybody was hyping up Box from Milwaukee. Tord came out. Awesome deck builder, a legend of the game. If for those of you who don't know, I would compare him to the Michael Jordan of Pokemon. Like, this guy has been playing forever and has pretty much has won everything except for the World Series or World Championships. And not only that, but he does it in a outstanding way by building his own decks or coming up with new variations that throw the meta into a loop, and then everybody's trying to catch up to Tord, which he created this Absol Box deck, which was amazing, a cool deck. But we did also see in Lille that a lot of people were teching now for Cornerstone, as we discussed with Piper's deck and also Gabriel's deck, which were playing those tech cards for Cornerstone. Charizard now is playing the Ho-Ho, which hits for harder against Cornerstone as well. So with that being said, Ashley, do you think Absol Box will make a comeback, or was it just this one-time flash in the pan, took advantage of the surprise element that it had in Milwaukee?
So I think, like, I haven't really had a whole lot of experience with this specific deck. So I feel like I can't give like 100%, but 90% of me wants to say that I think that it was more of a surprise that it did so well, and people didn't really know how to play against it. And now that people are learning how to play against it or finding their techs against it, I think that's why we didn't see such a better placement of this particular deck. So I think that it was just more of a surprise element.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, if we look back to Lille here, I'm gonna go and find me let's find an Absol Box deck that's out here. Because it is a box type deck, a toolbox. So I guess that's another word of the week, right? As we talk about deck lists here, and you hear this term toolbox or box. So like, as we call it, Mega Absol Box, is because there's a specific engine to it. So like right here is the Mega Absol is more of a disruptive engine, where it actually can disrupt your opponent's hand. You play other cards with it, like Iono, to be able to kind of like take cards out of your opponent's hand and really just kind of throw off their game plan. And as we see here with Mega Absol Box, the highest place, which was 27th by Benjamin Pham, he actually wasn't even playing Cornerstone here. He was actually playing Petron EX, Yveltal, Latias, Blood Moon Ursaluna, Psyduck, Tatsugiri, Fez, Monkey Dory, Mega Kangaskhan, and Mega Absol, of course. But then we also paired it with Eerie. So Eerie is a cool supporter that came out a while back. And I believe it was Temporal Forces, where Eerie allows you to, it's a supporter, and you play and your opponent reveals their hand and you discard up to 2 item cards you find there. So he kind of turned this more into like a real big hand disruption deck, playing Eerie's, playing Xerocious Machinations as well, which that's also another supporter card where your opponent discards cards from their hand until they have 3 cards in their hand. So if you can stop your opponent from playing cards, or just continuously take out their cards with Mega Absol with its Claw of Darkness, taking off with Eerie, and then maybe they come back, draw a lot of cards, and then you just play Xerocious Machinations and discard even more cards. It's more going towards a win condition of decking out your opponent, which means that on the start of your opponent's turn, if they cannot draw a card from their deck, they immediately lose. So it's interesting to me to see this kind of build come out, a little bit more control options. So I think if players have to be innovative with this deck, can't rely on the tricks and the build that Tord came out in Milwaukee, because as you said, Ashley, it is I think it was very surprise oriented, and then also too, the success of that deck also came from a lot of top tier players playing this deck in Milwaukee. We saw John Ang and his group playing this deck. We saw Obernati playing this deck in Milwaukee. Also, Gabriel Fernandez was playing it in Belo Horizonte as well. A little bit different of a build, but still, shades of Tord in there. So I think if people can figure out how to make it more of a control style deck than like a straight let me attack for damage and try to take prize cards deck, I think you can find success again. That's kind of where I'm at with that. So that'd be interesting to see how that plays out here in Gdansk and Brisbane. So as I write this down, right? Let's go into our second question here, which kind of I brought up. Ashley, what do you think? Do you think Dragapult will make it 2 in a row with Gdansk and Brisbane? Do you think he's going to take one of those tournaments to make it 2 in a row with Lille's results?
It's gonna be hard because I did pick Dragapult Dustnor for Lille. So do I continue with it, or should I say? I think I'm gonna go against it this time. And I think I'm gonna say no. I think something else is going to come out on top this regional.
Nice.
What about you?
Yeah. For me, I think definitely Dragapult's going to be in the top again, top 16.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be interested to see. I believe Piper is playing in Gdansk. I think she stayed in Lille over the week and is coming back to Gdansk and see what the Enzorark deck kind of does, because I really believe. I mean, I have limited testing on it, but playing against Dragapult with that side duck, it feels so much more manageable that matchup can be. And really, you've kind of put Dragapult on the back foot because now it doesn't have that explosive Dustnor combo play it can do to take multiple prizes. And it's almost like Dragapult has to like move around your Zoroark to find ways to kind of attack and take prize cards, because it doesn't want to attack directly in a Zoroark, because if it does, that spells trouble for it on the next turn, because it's going to be a one-hit knockout for Zoroark. So I think that Dragapult will not make it 2 in a row. At least it will not win in either Brisbane or Gdansk. I think it will be in the top 16, heck, even in the top 4. But I'll be really interested to see how these other decks like Enzorark and Terrabox come out and adjust their matchup from what they saw from Lille. All right.
I agree.
Cool. Okay, so let's go into. I know it's probably like against the rules of our predictions that we both say the same thing, but we got plenty of questions to go through. So
yeah,
there's gonna be
this is kind of, some of them could be like tiebreakers, I feel like.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of these players from Lille that are hanging back for Gdansk, so I'm going to ask you, Ashley, how many top cut players from Lille will we see in Gdansk's top cut?
Okay, I'm gonna pull this back up again, and I'm gonna look again.
Yeah.
Let's see, who do we have?
So
I think I'm gonna say 3.
3. Okay.
I'm gonna say 3.
All right. Ashley's saying 3. Do you have 3 in mind, or are you just thinking 3 in general?
I don't know. I think Gabriel Fernandez is on a roll. I feel like he can definitely be one of them. And Piper's doing pretty well as well. So those 2 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 I'm thinking. The other one's kind of up in the air, between a couple of them.
Yeah. So, interesting enough, right? Henry Brand is a name that sticks out to me because he is Australian. He came out to Lille. I don't know if he's hanging out staying the week for Gdansk, or if he's making the travel down to Brisbane to play in his home country. So I do look at this list, and kind of names that stick out to me right away is going to be Alberto Conti, Piper Lapine, Gabriel Fernandez. And then Hermione Haital, I can never say this last name, Haitalhala Hermione. Let's just say Hermione, right? If you look at a lot of European regionals, Hermione's a great player, always finding themselves up there in the top 16. So I can see them coming back up top. And then also, I'm looking through here. The question is, what name I don't see up here is Tord. And Tord did not play in Lille, but he is going to play in Gdansk. So is Tord going to be the guy that messes everybody up? Is he going to shoot everybody out of the top 16, with some kind of new deck list that he came up with? I'm going to go under 3. I'm going to go 2. I'm going to say less than 3. Yeah, I'm going to say 2. Because we do have some players that are not in Lille that are going to be in Gdansk, which are still top tier players. So I think that's going to shake up the top 16. All right. So I know we've been talking a lot about Gdansk and the players that are hanging back from Lille. Let's talk about a couple players that are to watch in Brisbane. Okay. There's definitely a couple players out there. Mr. Worldwide, Brent Tonneson, is Australian as well, and is probably going to be playing out there in Brisbane. I think Brent is due for a top cut for regionals. Definitely has not had a ton of success this season as of yet. But that could all change here in just one tournament, right? And then we have Tim Franklin. If you don't know, that's actually his last name is Franklin, not Danklin, as it is on his YouTube. So don't get confused, but it is Tim Franklin. He's a big innovator of playing rogue decks at tournaments and things like that. I don't believe Tim will be playing a rogue deck at Brisbane. I would imagine he's going to play in his home country once again. But I'll be interested to see what he brings, and I think that he's somebody to watch as well. And then we have Raul Reddy, which of course we've talked about a lot on this podcast. Raul's a great player, has been playing for a long time, really consistent player. He did play in Lille, but he is making the trip down to Brisbane for that. So that is like a 24-hour travel from Lille to Brisbane to get there, which is wild, but he is making that trek to go that way. So interested to see how he does out there. And then a local of Brisbane, Natalie Miller as well from Australia. Great player, had success last season in European finals with Dragapult Dustnor as well. So those 4 players are out there for sure in Brisbane looking to do well. So the question to you, Ashley, is out of these 4 players, who do you think is going to do the best?
I think I'm going to have to go with Brent Tonneson out of those 4.
Okay, Brent Tonneson. Good pick, safe pick.
What about you, Tommy? Who do you think?
Yeah, great question. So I'm not going to go with Brent. I'm going to go somewhere else. And I think, oh man, Tim's a wild card because you never know what he's going to play. Is he going to play something like meta relevant, or is he going to play something just off the wall? He did play for Alligator at a regional last year, and he actually provided tons of players with for Alligator decks just to like swamp the meta with for Alligator, which was hilarious. But I think let me look real quick because there's somebody I want to look at here. I want to see Raul was playing Gardevoir in Lille, got 306th place, so 642 drop. So he made it to day 2, but did not make it to the top 16, of course, as we read that. But he did play a very more standard Gardevoir list with 2 Corellia, 2 rare candies. He actually played the Mega Gardevoir EX in his deck. So I don't know if that hurt or helped him, or if he saw like making some plays. He did play the Evo as well, so he was playing more.
But yeah, also had the Mystery Garden too.
And the Mystery Garden, right? So yeah, so doing some things. So I'm gonna say Raul. Raul also has a lot of success when he goes over to Australia. I'm gonna say Raul is gonna top these 4 players in Brisbane this weekend. All right. So our last question: top 16 in both tournaments, Gdansk and Brisbane. How many of each archetype do we think is going to be in the top 16?
You
So we
said
have a
both?
couple but yeah, so combined, how
Ooh,
many do you think
okay.
are going to be there? So let's first go with Gardevoir. Ashley, what do you think?
I'm gonna say 4.
4. Okay. Are you making the split down the middle, 2 and 2?
um, 3 and 1.
3 and 1. Okay.
3 and 1.
Just as long as there's 4 total, you're fine. I'm gonna go high. You know what? I'm gonna say 5. I'm gonna go higher. I think Guardy's gonna make a comeback. Because everybody's going to think that Dragapult Dusknoir is doing really well. They're going to come back, reestablish their Gardevoir decks to have a better Dragapult matchup and find their way back up top. So I'm going to say 5. So I guess I can have the over, you'll have the under, right? So
Yep.
if 5 or more get it, I win. If 4 or less get it, you win. All right. So Ashley, I'll go to you then. Now next for Dragapult. How many do you think Dragapults are going to be in the top 16 through both regionals?
7.
7. Wow. Big number, big number. Okay.
I'm just guessing here, guys. Like, I
No,
don't even know.
no. You're good. You're good. Okay, so I'll take the under. I'll go 6 on that one cuz I don't know if Dragapult can pull it. I mean, I know it's good. It's good. It's going to find its way in the top 16. And we did have 4, right? I think what did I say? 4 in the finals. Let me see this. Get out of here, Raul. All right. I had to clear out his name from my search record. I'm not saying get out of here, Raul. Hey, we want you here. If you want to be on an episode of TM Talk, Raul, you just let us know. So Dragapult Dusknoir, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alone. And I mean, I'll say 6 with the straight Dragapult as well. We had 6 in Lille alone. Oh boy. No, I'm gonna say less. So I'll say 6. All right, let's move on to. We only got 3 more here. So Charizard, Ashley, how many do you think?
Let's see. Oh god. This is hard. I'm gonna say 4.
4.
Again.
Okay. I'm gonna. Oh man, because they're okay. So here's my thinking process about this, because in Gdansk, I know that I was saying I can never say Hermione is going to be there, and it's straight Charizard believer. There's other European players that are straight Charizard believers that can do really well. And then in Brisbane, we're adding another tournament in here. So, I mean, in Lille, we only had 1 in the top 16. So I'm going to say, and it could be poised to do well if Gardevoir takes out all the Dragapults and then Gardevoir's left and Charizard just somehow skipped all the Dragapults and came up into to see all the Gardevoirs. Okay, you're saying 4? I'll say 3. Even though it hurts me because I do love Charizard. I will say that it's only going to be 3 or less, and you'll get the 4 or more. All right. So here we go. A new one to this meta shift that we saw. And Zoroark.
All right. What do we say for Inzorok? So we had at least 2. Let me look back at this. 1, 2. Yeah. We just had 2 in the top 16.
Uh-huh.
That's between both regionals. So let's go 3.
3. Okay. I'm gonna say, I'll say 4. I'll say that there'll be more. All right. And just because I think Piper and Gabrielle are onto something with Enzorark, especially in this meta right now, with Psyduck, with these tech cards to handle Cornerstone. I think it's going to be a really good deck to play, and I like to see what they come out with their techs and their different build outs, and see how many other people share the same ideas they do. So interesting to see. All right, our last archetype that we're going to talk about here is Terrabox. So Ashley, what's your prediction for Terrabox? Terrabox did pretty good in Lille. We had 1, 2, 3. We had 3 Terraboxes in the top 16.
I'm gonna go. Let's go with 6.
6. Okay. All right. Ashley, I'm gonna lowball you. I'm gonna say 5. I'm gonna go underneath. Because I think Terrabox is a really good deck. I'm not really too confident about its matchups. How does it look? If Cornerstone is Leo kind of showed that everybody was respecting Cornerstone and teching for Cornerstone, and then couldn't find out that Cornerstone was not being played as much as we thought it was going to be played. So now that's one of the Terrabox's biggest walls, right? Is that Cornerstone matchup? Like, how do I go against Cornerstone? Where you're just punching a Cornerstone with Cornerstone, never feels great. But I don't know how the rest of its matchups play out. But I do know that if there's some other decks out there that are doing well, like Enzorark, like Charizard, like Guardy, Terrabox might be going down in numbers. So that's my idea. If you want to let us know what you think is going to happen with Gdańsk and Brisbane, what are your predictions? How many Dragapults do you think are going to be in the top 16 of both tournaments and all that? Or if you think Dragapult's going to make it 2 in a row, let us know. Reach out to us at tmtalkpodcast@gmail.com, or just hit us up on your favorite social at tmtalkpodcast, and let us know what you think is going to happen with this upcoming regionals in Gdansk and Brisbane. So any final thoughts, Ashley, as we look at our predictions, and as we wrap up our talks on Gdansk and Brisbane, as we look to the future? How do you feel?
I feel like my reign may be over next week of winning these predictions. I do
We'll
like
see.
that we did. I do like that we did this a little bit different though this week.
Yeah, I did
It
too.
does
I
make
thought
it a
this would
lot
be.
harder.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a little bit more interesting because we can. Sooner or later, we're going to start picking the same decks over and over again, right? So it's going to be like, hey, let's change it up a little bit, ask some different questions. I don't know. You made some good predictions, I think, and you had some good answers. So I think you could do pretty well. Not to my own horn, but I do think I did pretty good too.
I think you
But
did pretty well as well.
but no, I think it's gonna be fun. If you all think of different questions we can ask for our predictions or how we can do our predictions a little bit differently, please let us know. It's always fun doing these, and trying to figure out different ways that we can do this to kind of see how we could predict the meta and how well we do. Great practice for me as I look forward to Vegas as well. So hopefully I can put all this practice into use and pick something great for Vegas. But looking forward to seeing how these 2 regionals come out. Super excited. Excited to watch it. So any final thoughts, Ashley, for the podcast?
I do have one. For those of you who do not know, Phantasmal Flames pre-releases start on November 1st. So if you're looking to get the new cards before the set actually comes out, go to the Pokemon locator in either Play Access app or on Pokemon.com. Check out your locator and click the pre-releases and see if there's anything coming out around you and go play in some and have some fun.
Yeah, great shout out, great point out to that as well. Yes, definitely go enjoy. Their pre-releases are super fun. There's no stress on the whole tournament aspect of it. It's just there to have fun, check out the new cards, and see what you pull before the actual set drops. So if you do have an opportunity, check out those events and go do that. And also, I will say that, and I forgot to mention in the beginning, and shame on me, but we had a blast at our Pokeween event this past Tuesday. It was great to see everybody in costume, playing some Pokemon, and being innovative with the deck building. We actually had a player that said, "I love doing this. This is so much fun to get a break from competitive to play something like this, and I hope we do more of it." So I want to do more of it as well. So if you're a professor, if you're a player at a league, and you want to like maybe bring it up that, hey, I want to have some fun and maybe take a break from competition, try out some of these fun alternate variants or formats of Pokemon. There's an alternate format handbook on Pokemon.com underneath the resources tab. Gives you plenty of ideas on different ways to play Pokemon, or come up with your own. And kind of just think about, okay, what is going to be the most fun, right? If we want to just take out the EXs and all the rule box Pokemon to make it a single prize deck and see what everybody can come up with, play with some cards that you never played before. It's super fun. Even the most competitive person has a blast putting together one of these decks, trying to flex their creative muscle and come out and have some fun with Pokemon without having so much stress on it as well. So I hope you enjoyed your Pokeween event if you attended, and I'm wishing everybody a happy Halloween. Yeah, actually, you wanted to speak on that.
Oh, I was just gonna say that particular player that said that they had a lot of fun, they were actually the winner of the tournament. So it just goes to show
Yes.
you that, and that was actually, I believe that's their first tournament win of any type of Pokemon that we've done so far. So it was awesome to see a newer player come play in a fun tournament and them come out on top. Um, so congratulations to them. And I had a blast, even though I didn't win. My
Oh
deck didn't do as well, but it was still fun to play.
no, it was definitely a fun time. I was glad to see everybody come out. But we forgot to mention again. Hey, we had a challenge this past weekend. So not only did me and Ashley go head to
Yeah,
head in our predictions for Lille, but we also went head to head at a challenge at our local league. And just like she did with her Lille predictions, she swept the head to head challenge for me, because we did play versus each other in the very first round.
we did. It was so hilarious.
It was very funny to be matched up together. It was a best of one tournament, and Ashley came out on top. Very competitive game. At least I feel. I like to feel like I didn't make it too easy for you, but Ashley did come out on top, and Ashley placed third.
I did place third, correct.
Third place in the entire challenge. So congratulations, Ashley. Good job. Great play overall with unsuspecting Jellicent Gardevoir. So very cool play there. And yeah, congratulations to you.
Thank you. I really haven't played that that variant a whole lot. And I was actually thinking about playing something completely different. Like I was just going to build something for fun. And then it got to the morning of, and I was like, I just don't have time to finish this yet. So maybe for the cup, our cup that'll be coming up soon, hopefully, I'm going to be working on something fun for it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, I was going to build something completely fun as well. I was looking to play actually Franklin's Blood Moon or Saluna deck, but I respected Cornerstone too much. I said, oh, there's probably gonna be a lot of Cornerstone. I don't want to play that deck there. And so I didn't build it, and instead I went with Charizard, and did not go well for me. But I had fun nonetheless. Got to play against a new player that's never played our league before. They were a junior. That's how that's how far down the ladder I fell. But it was a good time once again playing with them. I turned it more into like a teaching moment because it was our first tournament, and kind of just had that good repertoire with them, and we had a blast in our game, so it was a fun time.
That's
But
awesome.
those are always fun to do. So actually, a clean sweep this whole week in Pokemon
I am the
against me.
champion.
You
Now
are.
listen. One of my nicknames is Ash. So Ash Ketchum. I mean, it's bound for me to happen. I'm going to be the champion at some point
It's
in my life.
bound. All right. There it is. I'm changing my name to Gary, and I'm going to
Yeah.
be your ultimate rival. I just need a cool convertible and the cool hair that comes up to the front. I'll be good. But no, we had a blast. But thank you everyone for listening. Appreciate it. And please keep commenting, keep sending us your thoughts, your ideas. 'Cause we want to make this fun and enjoyable for you. As much fun as we have recording it, I want you all to have just as much, if not more, fun listening to it. So, let us know what you think we could do to add something else, a little bit more spice to the podcast. But I am going to look forward to talking to you next time.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You just used TM Talk. I hope it was super effective for you. Whether you're building a deck or building a league, remember, you've got this and we've got your back.
If today's episode boosted your stats, share it with your party. And until next time, keep training, keep teaching, and keep passing that knowledge on.